Ego, talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yes, Lord, we got another one. But you know we can't get shit started till I come to the ring.
Fighting out of the southpaw stance. Standing at 6'2", 190 pounds. I give you, boy, I'm made different. I work too hard. Ain't no way I ain't getting paid different. This from the dirt, this from the mud. You ain't slave with me. This was strictly for my homies that was brave with me. You can't come in with me now if you ain't came with me. Skull looking at you side eye if you ain't with real life. I seen a couple people try and it ain't in pretty. I only keep the people around that stood on 10 with me. And if they start to stand on 9, that's where it end with me. It can end quickly. In the way I level up, I make them spin differently. I should start a foundation. I got these hoes in the fringe. They can't seem to get to me. Babe, I done mastered discipline. It take more than booty cheeks. Need a little more conversation, cause I still be trying to see. I be listening with my eyes. Yeah, I still be trying to see. I be moving like the prize. You can't find another me. Let's get focused. Want the fruits of your
Alright. Yeah, we back. We got another live show, man. It's the best, man. It's Mr. Show Up Late and Walk 'em Down anyway, man. Yes, sir. We got a great live show coming in today. I hope y'all feel good, man. I feel great. I know the playoffs on, but you know what I'm saying? We can compete. It's nothing, right? It's nothing, but I got a great live show, man. We always got to come in late on Wednesdays because that's physical therapy day for me. Y'all know I'm coming back from this injury. So, you know, we are here, though. We are here, and that's what's most important. You know what I mean? So we got the live reaction coming in today. Then we got the question of the day. We got the sports segment. We got the code language. And then if the chat say so, we got chat Q&A. So we got a great live show. We coming in full of energy. We're going to get right into the live reaction, actually. And then we just going to get the ball rolling, man. We're going to get the ball rolling. Yeah, so we going to a live reaction with 8 at the table, and they're talking about if there truly is somebody for everybody. So I'm interested to see what this is. I haven't watched any of this just yet, and so I'll go full authentic with my reaction to this. I know how I feel about the topic in general, but we'll see how I feel about the rhetoric. Right? Let's roll.
Like, I hate when people say you can do anything you want. I hate when people say you can be whatever you want. I hate when people say there's someone out there for you. No, there's not. And no, you can't.
That's yours.
No, that's the reality, because when you live as such, you're left like, why am I having a poor outcome? And it's really because what you think you have the choice of, is it possible? Hell, anything is possible. But the odds are like winning the lottery. And if we know how the lottery works here, right? I don't know how many millions of people play. Only one person wins. But for some odd reason, it gives the illusion of hope, which is like a disease. And then people just think that they can be the lucky one too. No, you can't. No, most likely you won't. So when we understand that, then that's going to make us understand, hey, look, that woman over there, guess what? She was able to find a rich man that loves her right. Most times it's not that way. Mm-hmm. Hey, that man over there, he thought that girl was going to treat him right or be what he wanted her to be. Most likely she won't. So when we understand that the reality is the odds of what we are, desire, like they gave us the paradox of choice that we can have and achieve any type of relationship, is not true. But it's funny, like when I think about it, with proven concept.
Let me jump in right there. So when he's saying there, essentially what he's saying when we're discussing, the concept of there being somebody for everybody, he's pretty much saying people have to be realistic in regards to understanding probability versus possibility. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are out here, like I say, a lot of people are out here trying to play the lottery with what they're looking for. They've narrowed down what they need and what their non-negotiables are and what their specifics are and all of that. They've narrowed it down to the point where, they're looking for a 0.000000001% person, you know, at this point. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, it's like good luck with that. You feel me? Those are the people who I would say are in their own way by way of criteria, right? They're too picky. Everybody's got that. Anyone that's relatively attractive and wants to be in a relationship, but they've been unsuccessful with securing a partner, a companion that they find to be suitable, they're in their own way in some capacity. That's my theory. I've stuck to it. I've said it for years. If you're a relatively attractive person, and I'll define attraction. What up to everybody in the chat coming in? I'll define attraction. Attraction meaning that the type of people you like generally look at you too. So that means you're attractive, right? The people that you want be wanting you back in some capacity. Because you could be attracted to a bunch of people you don't want. Does that mean anything? So I'm giving y'all my definition of it for the sake of this conversation. So yeah, if you're single, you're in your own way somehow. And I think some people are in their own way because of what Rico said in regards to not understanding or refusing to understand probability versus possibility. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, can that happen? Is it going to happen for somebody somewhere? Sure. But is it wise of you to rest your hat on you being that 1 out of 10 million? Is it wise of you to rest your hat on that? Especially when it pertains to things that are going to come down to someone else needing to be in alignment with you. Because a woman could want this, 0.05% man all she wants. She could do everything to put herself in his vicinity. And then she finally runs into one of these few unicorn ass people walking around, and he don't even look her way. Like that happens too. So I think it's wise to follow what Rico's point in totality was, which is be realistic, understand the difference between probability and possibility, and just scale it in a way where you can actually achieve the goal that you're looking for, which is ultimately, I would think, happiness, right? In some sort of sustained relationship. So yeah, let's see if there's anything else to this conversation, or if they're gonna switch topics. Let's see, or we'll move on. Let's go.
I said, I also feel like a lot of things have fell off. Like marriage back, if we go like 1,500, 300, 200 years ago, marriage worked because there was even exchange, right? If it wasn't the partner, it was the partner's family or someone within that family. Somebody was putting in some type of equal value, right? But now we got this new theory of marriage where it's just love based, right? Where it's like, okay, if you make me feel some type of way, then that means that we can last longer or whatnot. But then 9 times out of 10, your feelings going to be shifted and changed for many different reasons. Sometimes you only feel this way because this person can provide certain lifestyles for you. When that person loses their job, or for any reason why the finances run tight, they can no longer provide that lifestyle for you. Now all of a sudden the way you feel has changed. But if we really go back to the foundation of things, then I think proven concept works. But at this point in time, modern dating in totality has no structure, has no foundation, and really has no real theory. We have no real studies, because everybody who's really living in this modern day world of dating is probably like 21 to 29.
I think it all just goes down to convenience, honestly. Back then.
Nah, well, I gotta disagree with some of what he just said at the end with the age range. Dating is happening all the way up into the 60s and 70s, dog. There's a lot of people out here who have been unsuccessful in securing lifelong companionship. And then there's a populace of people who don't believe in lifelong companionship. They believe in having, expiration dates on their relationships, and believe in, falling in love multiple times. I've heard that. I've heard people say, no relationship lasts forever, and this, that, and the third, which I don't know why anybody would go through marriage paperwork with that thought process, it's kind of like working against yourself, especially if you're the man that thinks that way. But that, nevertheless, that thought process is out here. But dating is all going all the way up to, death. People are dating all the way into the graveyard at this point. So I have to disagree with them there. And then as far as the things that are getting in the way, I do believe, like I'll always say, and I'll say it again here, is that when it comes to modern dating, we don't have a connectivity issue. People are connecting. They're making kids, they're exchanging diseases, they're running up their body counts. Like, people are connecting. We don't have connectivity issues out here in the modern dating climate. People are meeting. They're meeting from all over the country and all over the world. We have sustainability issues. And I think a lot of times when it comes down to long-term relationships and having something that's going to have longevity and that real death do you part energy, it's going to boil down to the two people involved or more. It's going to boil down to their thought processes, your perspectives, and your ideologies. If you see things like the perspective that I just stated, the people who think that everything has an expiration date and nothing lasts forever. Okay, so if somebody thinks like that, why would someone else agree to enter into a marriage with them if they don't think the same? You see what I'm saying? You can't go into a marriage with somebody who thinks like that and feel like, oh, well, they'll change. Like, no, they eventually gonna hit the door. They eventually gonna dip. They don't believe in forever. There's a lot of people like that now. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I agree with everything Rico said on that one, but I feel where he's coming from, though. Let's continue.
It was just more convenient to be with one person and to just live your lives as a happy mother, father, couple kids home. And now it's just it was just easier to do. It was a simpler lifestyle. And now we're just overstimulated. We're looking at this, we're looking at that, we're seeing these girls, those guys, like, and we're traveling more. We weren't, you know, a lot of people that never even left the hood before, and now all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I'm about to go to Atlanta," even if you've been in motherfucking Hartford all your life, and now all of a sudden, because everybody traveling, you want to go to Atlanta, like.
But look here, check this out. Proven concept that having multiple wives works. This is not but this is not like the non-proven concept, or I guess I'm gonna say non-proven, but one of the oldest religions promotes polygamy. This is a fact.
Polygyny, specifically a man with multiple wives. Polygamy is a bigger umbrella where females could be out here doing whatever too. You don't want to walk that. You want to just make sure we're using the right term. He's talking about polygyny, one man with multiple wives.
Somehow,
yeah, but now everything is out in the open.
No, because we are saying we're overstimulated, right?
Yeah, but
Y'all
now
overstimulated, and I believe that when growing into adulthood and becoming a grown up, you have to learn some things through experience. You have to make some mistakes. You have to touch the stove. You have to bump your head, and then there's some things that you learn through wisdom. Somebody give you some game, an old head, a parent, an uncle, a grandparent, whoever, a mentor. You get some game, and you actually just take heed without having to actually go touch the metaphorical stove to burn yourself. You know what I mean? So there's some things you learn from listening, and there's some things you learn from going through it, right? But when she's talking about, people being able to date all over the country, people being able, I do feel like the stimulation and the accessibility has made it to where people are no longer making their mistakes and getting those growing opportunities or those growing experiences. They're no longer doing it in controlled environments. People are learning about situational awareness and finding out the hard way while they in Colombia getting robbed. People are finding out the first time that, that type of guy is a bad guy. They finding that out on a trip across the country getting flued out. You know what I mean? They finding like people aren't failing in controlled environments. And because of that, you have hyper trauma. You don't just have regular trauma, you got trauma now. And so it becomes, it's a trickle down effect from there. It's a snowball effect. So I think the stimulation thing is a valid point for sure. We're gonna move off this in a second, but let's see what else they got to say in closing.
Everything is out in the open. So even if a woman didn't know, if a man was a great man and leaving and going to work, but his job didn't require for him to be at work for 10 hours and he could go and have another life at that time. Nope. Everything is not being like, you can't be like, oh, I can see on your phone that you're not at work. Or, oh, somebody just posted a video at Walgreens and I saw you in the background holding hands with somebody. Like 40 years ago, that wasn't happening. So now everything is getting more difficult because everything is more.
You guys think it's
So I might say so. Fear of missing out.
Yeah, I think we agree. We're gonna end this one on that. But I think we agree that there's definitely some issues, and I think a lot of it is mental. Like I said, physically, people are connecting just fine, right? They're meeting up, they having sex, they doing it fast. But in regards to real shit being established and the understanding that the black family and the nuclear black family is in jeopardy. The nuclear family is in jeopardy in general, but the black nuclear family is going extinct disproportionately faster than a lot of other ethnicities because they still have customs and cultures that are slowing down the pace at which feminism is impacting their household structure as a ethnicity and as a race. So we gotta lock in and be intentional about resolving this one. And that's one of the codes I'm really gonna take pride in cracking. But we're gonna move off of the reaction video. Shout out to everybody in the chat, 333. All right, y'all. So we're gonna switch over into the question of the day. Question of the day: why don't men go to singles events? And for this one, we're going to actually go to a TikTok, and I'm gonna do a just respond to this woman's rhetoric and her take, because her in her video she did pose a lot of questions and she made a lot of statements. And so we're gonna, kind of mine this thing out in regards to why men aren't attending singles events, and I'll answer some of her questions from my male POV and we'll go from there. Let's get it.
Hi, men. Don't come to brunches.
That I got of angry black men dogging us out so bad, saying how we want y'all to pay for stuff and just the lies. If I'm inviting you to a brunch, that means me and my girls already got our tickets and our tables. What do we need your stuff for? What's that little money gonna do? Majority of the women making more money anyway. So why would I care for that? All I said was we want to hang with y'all. Why I can't say we want to hang with the black men? Why can't the black men come enjoy a brunch with us and chill and just eat and have a good time? You be home by 6 and watch the game. Why would y'all rather choose being with all men? I never seen a world where men be so thirsty to just be with men and not women, and complain when women invite you.
Now, listen to the amount of gaslighting going on here. There's all type of gaslighting going on here. I'm listening to this woman and I'm listening closely because that's respectful. And there's so many small microaggressions in her language. It speaks to why she's on TikTok making this video as a single woman. And I don't mean that in a shady way or in a malicious way. I mean it in a way of expressing that I understand something about you from listening to you speak. This isn't a personal attack on her. It's a type of language. Like I always tell y'all, it's a type of language. I always tell you guys that women who are wives and fit to be wives, meaning they will eventually become wives, they speak a different language from women who will suffer from being chronically single. They don't talk the same and they don't think the same. And so they get different results. A lot of the results that women get from men is due to the conduct, behavior, and thought processes of that woman. So if a woman has the results of being in and out of relationships constantly and having sustainability issues, she could blame the men all she wants. She could take self-accountability, yet and still something's not clicking. Somebody not, you get what I'm saying? And you can even, some women explain it away by saying, well, I left all my relationships. That is still a problem. There's a code that needs to be cracked. You are not getting results. Meanwhile, this sister over here been married for 15 years. You know what I mean? So there's just a difference. And from listening to her speak, I can tell why she's single. There's all type of gaslighting going on. I'm gonna start this over from the top, and I'm gonna just point out the gaslights, and we'll listen to the rest of what she has to say. Let's roll.
Part 2 of why men don't come to brunches.
That I got of angry black men dogging us out so bad, saying how we want y'all to pay for stuff and Just the lies. If I'm inviting you to a brunch, that means me and my girls already got our tickets and our tables. What do we need your stuff for? What's that little money gonna do?
Gaslight. What's that little money gonna do? That's condescending, and it's belittling. That's gaslighting.
Majority of the women making more money anyway. So why would I care for that? All I said was we want to hang with y'all. Why I can't say we want to hang with the black men? Why can't the black men come enjoy a brunch with us and chill and just eat and have a good time? You be home by 6 and watch the game. Why would y'all rather choose being with all men? I never seen a world where men be so thirsty to just be with men.
That's a gaslight right there. Who said men are choosing to be with men? A lot of men are choosing to be alone. There's a lot of isolated men in this world. Dudes is at home learning skills, reading books, working out, staying to themselves, learning how to run up a bag, saving the money, learning how to make the money make some money. Men ain't necessarily congregating with each other and broing it out all the time. Dudes that get together here and there and stuff like that. A lot of men that are single in this world, from what I've noticed, especially the ones that are checked out from hunting, right? If you know what I mean, hunting, the ones that have checked out from hunting, they just focused on themselves. A lot of dudes are straight loners. Shout out to all the introverts, man. 333 to all the introverts. But let's let her continue.
And not women. And complain when women invite y'all to something. We just want to have a good time with y'all. Why y'all so mad at us? That's so weird. And we the same.
That's gaslighting. Don't assume the emotional state of the men. Nobody's angry, Queen. Nobody's angry. Men aren't angry. But y'all want to have a good time. We view it as waste of time. You see the difference? So the answer to respond to part of what she's asking, right? Why are men choosing not to show up to these things? Or why don't men want to come out and have a good time with y'all? Is because y'all consider it a good time. We consider it a waste of time. There's a lot of men who are being intentional now, and they don't see y'all as the type of women they can be intentional with. So they're not pulling up. They're not pulling up. Let's continue.
Skin. We supposed to be hanging together anyway, not against each other. It sounds like y'all don't like us. Answer that. Do y'all like black women still? What do we do? Because I know I ain't did no bad stuff to black men. Like, I love black men. I ain't never even dated a white man before. I'm so loyal. I understand that.
So here we go. They always gonna tell you how good they is and how dope they are, but they single and perfect. Like I always tell y'all, there is nothing like a woman that is just single and perfect. She's so loyal. She ain't never did nothing wrong to no black man. Just single and perfect. So you ain't never finessed a black man. You never accepted a dinner date from a man that you knew you weren't truly interested in, wasting his time, which he can't get back, wasting his resources. Huh? Taking an opportunity away from another woman who he could have shot his shot at that day if you would have just rejected him like you was supposed to. You've never done anything at all wrong to a black man at all. These chicks just be single and perfect. Single and perfect. Accountability gets you far. I'm telling you.
Please, we just want y'all to hang with us. That's it. Have fun with us. What's wrong with that?
Part 2 of
All
Why
right, y'all. So that's what she had to say. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try to see if I can find this brother's video who kind of responds to her. And then I'll give my rhetoric on it. I gotta find this dude video real quick though. Yeah, let me lock in real quick. Shout out to everybody. Joe Jet, what's going on? 333. We discussing why don't men go to the singles events. Just broke down that sister's rhetoric on TikTok. I'm trying to find this video where this one brother kind of explained why we not going. Here we go. I just found it. Here we go.
Yo, if you're not noticing what's going on, yo, men are straight out ignoring women. Women are dressing like this, going to bars, going to the gym. Men are straight out ignoring them.
Hold on. This isn't the right one. I thought it was though.
Why men are refusing to go into single events, right? A lot of you guys, a lot of you women out there that are going to single events, shows up and there's no men. Just a whole bunch of women is constantly showing on single dating events and stuff like that. The reason why like you guys don't understand is the same like let's look at like speed dating, for example. The man has to come up, he has to hold the conversation for you, he has to say what you find attractive for him or try to get something anything out of it and stuff in that short amount of time. The men constantly going to tables and tables and tables and getting rejected, right? So listen, as a man, is that beneficial for you? You have to hold the conversation. You have to provide something tangible or something in general for the woman to say, oh, I'll give you my number at the end of the night, and go through all that process just to get rejected by multiple women by multiple times. That's why a lot of these single events are just women showing up because men.
Okay, so let me jump in right here, okay? So in regards to what he's saying, in regards to speed dating specifically, I do think for the wrong type of man, it's a full-fledged humiliation ritual. Speed dating for a man who is not perceived to be generally attractive to most women, it's a humiliation ritual. I'll say this, I've been to a couple of singles mixers and I've always had a great time, but I'm also not a man who would be considered to be generally unattractive by most women. Most rooms I go into, you know, a good portion of the women there will find me attractive. That's my life experience. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. That just is what it is. Here's one more person though, I think that hit the nail on the head, and he's going to use a term that I used in a previous piece of content, and I kind of want to drive that home in my answer too. So this is the last one from TikTok, but this one's going to kind of break it down.
I wanted to give my take on why men aren't really showing up to the dating like events and the dating scene right now. And I feel like it's really because the return on investment on dating right now is so low. Like men just don't see the point of going to dating events or speed dating or anything like that, because it's like, okay, I go to this event, then it's like maybe this works, but at the end of the day, I lose out on most of the financials behind this experiment. Like I'm basically funding this experiment, and it's like maybe I get something out of it, maybe I don't. And at the end of the day, I feel like I lost the most. So the return on
Yeah, that's all I wanted y'all to hear. The return on investment. I think a lot of men are checking out from hunting altogether, whether it be a singles mixer, a speed dating event, or just approaching a chick at the grocery store or at the gas station or wherever. I think a lot of men are checking out on hunting because they don't see the return on the investment. They don't see the return on the investment. The criteria of being a real man, a good man, is getting more and more rigid by the hour. You got to meet more and more qualifications and specifications by the hour. And what you get back for meeting those qualifications and specifications is access to a bunch of I'm talking about hit cat, right? Body counts astronomical, but you get to tap in though. You got access now. You've become this superstar Negro, and now you got access to all these different females. But then when you get to thumbing through the catalog of what you've now gained access to, it's like buying a big ass coupon book full of coupons to stores you don't shop at. You got access to all this bullshit, but you got access. You see what I'm saying? The return on investment is ass. And that's why men ain't showing up. A lot of times when you look at a singles, like a speed dating event, it's normally a room full, as far as the females that are there, it's normally a room full of females who have gotten in their own way up to this point and their supportive friends. There's normally a room full of women who have gotten in their own way and they still looking, hopeless romantics, and then their friends that are there to support. Half the y'all don't want to talk about it. I've been to the singles mixers. I go when you travel, they have stuff like this, and I travel alone from time to time. So I'll pull up just to see what's going on. Yeah. Story time. Last singles mixer I went to, I got offered a foursome. Facts. 3 chicks offered it to me at once. They was friends. They said, yeah, we could just go back to your room now. Didn't take them up on it. Promise you I didn't take them up on it. Didn't do it. Because if it's that easy, I don't want it. I ain't gonna lie to you. If it's that easy, I don't want it. That's just wisdom. You feel me? Shout out Uncle Jesse. If it's that easy, I don't want it. But they definitely offer me. They definitely offer me the foreplay for sure. You know what I'm saying? Different type of foreplay. Joe Jet said facts. But yeah, you know what I mean? So when you start breaking down what these singles events really are, there's no real benefit. If you're a certain type of man who struggle in a dating market, but you do have some strong attributes and you want to put yourself in a situation where these women are somehow like kind of forced to hear you out, and you feel like the things that you lack physically, you can win them over with conversation. But a lot of men don't get to the conversation piece because when they don't pass the up and down test. When she give you that once over, if you're not passing that test in the wild, you may not get the conversation. But in an experimental setting like a mixer or a speed dating event, you can get conversation, right? So now they forced to see that you got this dope personality or some charm or some charisma that you can play to as a strength. And that's when you end up having you a girlfriend who telling, you know, the story at the wedding about how you originally wasn't her type, but you won her over. So those events can benefit a particular type of man. You know what I mean? But for a man who is generally attractive, we not pulling up to that shit. We do just fine in the wild. So yeah, man, that's the question of the day, man. Another one. So next, we about to move into the sports segment. Shout out to Joe Jet, though, man. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Talk to me, dog. What you think about that? Why aren't men showing up to the singles events? I got to pull up the get the sports segment pulled in right fast. Yes, Lord. All right, y'all. We about to move into the Classic Code Sports segment. We talking about Shedeur Sanders, and do he have a realistic chance of starting for the Cleveland Browns? Let's go.
There you go. Talk to him. Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yo, it's Classic with the Classic Code Sports, and we talking about Shedeur Sanders today. Does he have a realistic chance of starting for the Cleveland Browns this season? So for what we've seen in training camp so far, in the coverage that we've been able to see, it looks like Shedeur is being exactly who he's been. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like he's fazed by the fact that he's at the next level. It doesn't seem like he's having any issues with the media. As a matter of fact, I think he's been handling the media beautifully. So, you know, finding a way to maintain being you. I always say this too about people who discuss code switching and knowing how to adapt and move in a room full of vultures, so to speak. I always said that if you get your character and your principles and your morals and your stoicism and your charisma, your charm, your confidence, if you can find a balance there and align yourself, you don't have to code switch at all. You could just be you. You could just be you everywhere you go. It's appropriate. You as you are, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you present, your everything. You don't have to turn it on, turn it off, or turn anything up or down. You could just be yourself. And I think Shedeur is mastering or finding that balance. I won't say he's got it down pat, but the way he's gracefully answered the media without coming off of his square and like, because it's like they tried to humble him with this 5th round thing, right? And he does a great job of not coming off of his confidence, coming off of his square of being a person with great self-belief. He kind of lets you know, like, I believe in myself. You know, this is what I'm on, and this is where I'm coming from, and, you know, this is why I'm here. But without being disrespectful to anybody else and without showing that he has any resentment towards the way he's been done. I don't want to talk about him like he's a victim, because at the end of the day, he should be grateful for the opportunity. He's still, you know, one out of XYZ millions of people who want to be an NFL player, and he's in the door. So he's still blessed at the end of the day. But he did earn a greater pick of the litter. He did earn a greater choosing. Joe Jet said, I think they'll let the vets hold it and eventually work in Sanders. Yeah, I think he starts. I think he starts after the first quarter of the season. So anything from week 5 on, I could see Shedeur getting a shot. I do think because of politics and payroll, I think that Dylan gets a shot before he does, though. I do think that yeah, I think the pecking order will be in accordance to the payroll. But it's the NFL. Everybody gets hurt, and then poor performances mixed with fan influence, because the fans will pressure you into putting somebody in the game. We've seen it done before. So Cleveland don't get off to a good start. If they got Flacco out there, or if they got Pickett out there, and they don't get off to a good start in the first 4 or 5 games, the heat going to be on. And the media needs something to talk about. So they're going to have a field day. They're going to have an absolute field day discussing nothing but, will the Browns start Shedeur? And they'll stay talking about it for weeks and weeks until it happens. And then when they decide to announce Shedeur going to get the start, all they're going to talk about is how will he do it in the start. Then when he plays, how did he do it in the start? So he's a gold mine for content. I'll be covering it all season, but I've been a Shedeur fan, you know, so it's one of those things where I've been watching him since high school. I've been watching Deion Sanders, my favorite football player of all time. So I've been following his children and his coaching journey simultaneously. So none of this is new to me. I've seen Shedeur develop, and he really got it out the mud. That's why I said Shedeur is a kid that comes from a well-off family, but when it comes to football, he had to get everything out the mud. Football's not a sport where your privilege can get you past a certain point. Your play has to do that. You have to actually get on the field and perform. You can't, like basketball, I feel like if you go get some reasonable numbers, politics, you know, self-marketing and stuff like that, can get you that scholarship to that D1 school over somebody who probably a little touch better than you. But you got clout, you got a name, you play on a bigger AAU team, you've had greater exposure. Those things start mattering. When it comes to football, the cream rise to the top. Flat out. Flat out. The cream rise to the top. Especially with the amount of injuries there are, you're going to get a shot. You're going to get a shot. And when you get a shot, that cream going to rise. You got to get it out the dirt when it comes to football. So that's just what it is. But I believe that Shedeur Sanders has a bright future. I always did. And to be honest with you, y'all see what I got on, man. You know, I want to see that boy with one of them stars on. You know what I mean? I want to see Shedeur come to Dallas. You feel me? Y'all drafted him in the 5th round. Y'all paying him shit. You know Jerry got the money. We know Jerry got that bag. So he want to come on over to Dallas. We can get McCarthy up out of there too. Deion could come coach the joint. I'm with all that. I'm with the whole setup. In Tampa Bay, they ain't gonna start Shiloh out there, even though they probably put him on the roster. They ain't gonna start Shiloh out there because they got some pieces at safety already, as far as I know. So Shiloh being like some glorified backup, we're not gonna do that. Bring him on into Dallas. We're gonna start him too. And if the Jaguars don't do right by Trav, Coach Prime know how to handle that too. So we can go ahead and bring Colorado straight to Texas. As far as I'm concerned, I'm with the whole setup. Give me Jimmy Horn. They don't want to re-up him. Bring him on over too. Bring Colorado straight to Texas. I'm with all of it. He said, yep, his dad will coach the Cowboys for sure. You know him and Jerry tight. You know him and Jerry tight, Joe. Him and Jerry tight. You know what I'm talking about? They like this. It ain't nothing but a sit down. And you know Deion ain't going to no damn Cleveland. He not finna go, even though he can get a meeting with the owner if he want to, but you know he not going to no damn Cleveland. Yeah, Shedeur gonna run up his value. And then when it's time, look, they put him on a 4-year deal for it's like 4 years, $4 million or something like that, or some shit like they paying him. He made more in college. You know what I'm saying? So, and he'll probably make more off the field with endorsements and stuff like that. He keep himself clean. So Shedeur know what he's doing from a business standpoint. So I think that and he don't get in trouble. So Shedeur gonna make his money one way or the other. But when it's time to re-up on some NFL shit, Cleveland gonna have to throw the bag at him. And then by that time, let's say 2 seasons in Cleveland. Let's say 3. And then that last year he ready to, you know, get on somewhere. Man, if Cleveland throw him a couple million more than Dallas, and Dak already, we know Dak getting old. Dak don't run like he used to. Dak trying to be a pocket passer. He wasn't even that coming into the league. He wasn't even that. We ain't got time to be waiting on Dak to develop into some shit that he want to be when he grow up. We ain't got time for that shit. We got a few more years of Dak doing what Dak do. That's cool. We'll take it. And then it's the Shador show. Bring Shador to Dallas. I'm with the campaign. Jerry, if you see this, you know what we want. You know what we want. Yeah, man. But that's the sports segment, man. Shador Sanders, again, looking good in training camp with the Cleveland Browns, handling the media well, handling the spotlight well. And I think that when he gets his opportunity to start, we'll be right here with the Classic Code Sports, covering it every step of the way. That's just what it is, man. So shout out to Dion, shout out to the whole family. And y'all boys, them boys put God first, and they let you know about it every chance they get. So it's nothing but respect over there. You can't do nothing but respect it. But yeah, that's it. That's what we got for the Classic Code Sports. So lastly, we're moving into the code language conversation for the day. Code language conversation, we talking about the laws of nature. Laws of nature. I always say, when people talk to me about governmental law, I always say I don't care about the governmental law, because at the end of the day, we all have to live by the laws of nature. See, here's the difference between the governmental law and the laws of nature. The laws of the government, they get amended, they get changed. You know, we do whatever we do whatever we want with those laws, right? Liquor is illegal, prohibition. Liquor's legal again. If we can get some bread off of it, charge it to the game. Let's sell poison in the stores and let people poison themselves, for a profit. Why not? Right? So they make liquor legal. Cannabis is illegal. Then all of a sudden, boom, bring the THC in, put the tax on it. Let's get paid, right? So these are government laws, right? Lynchings used to be legal at some point, right? And then now you can't do that anymore, or at least not in certain places, and not in most places in the country. Some places you don't want to get caught in the dark, right? So these are government laws. I like to call them rules, right? Rules are subject to change. What used to be a travel, or what used to be good defense in the NBA, a hand check used to be allowed, now no longer allowed. Next year they could bring it back if they want. These are rules. These things change. So me as a man, I can't afford to live by rules that are subject to change. It's survival of the fittest. It's self-preservation. It's protection of the family. We have to all live by the laws of nature. That's what's most important. There's no changing the laws of when a tornado happens, what's best for you to do to survive. That doesn't change. There's no amendments on that. When a hurricane coming, what you should do to survive. There doesn't change. The procedure doesn't change. Right? The protocol doesn't change. And the results don't change. That's the thing about governmental laws versus the laws of nature as well. The results can change. Okay, this law has been illegal, but now we punish it this way when we used to punish it that way. When the hurricanes punish the same every time. The tornadoes punish the same. That's nature versus government. So as men, I'm not going to encourage anybody on how they should see things or how they should move. But when people tell me stuff like, like firearms, for example, I'm legally registered in every way when it comes to firearms. But for those who aren't, or those who are waiting on their paperwork, or for those who, I couldn't blame somebody for still carrying, even though they don't legally got all their documents in order, because at the end of the day, if you in a situation where you needed that and you didn't have that, living in accordance to the law is what got you knocked off, because you should have had that on you. But because somebody wrote on a piece of paper, you can't have that on you unless you got this and this situated because of where you live at. And so you was trying to be a good boy and live by the letter of Johnny Law. And now somebody that ran up on you who didn't care about the government laws, and they're living by natural law, which is if you can't protect it, it ain't yours. And so they running up on you trying to take what they feel is theirs, and you can't protect it. You got a problem on your hands. And it's not just in regards to the laws of nature and understanding. It's not just in regards to self-preservation in the way of self-defense. Eating. The laws of nature when it comes to eating. If I was supposed to be consuming deer on a regular basis, if I was supposed to eat like that on a regular basis, eating deer or beef or pork on a regular basis, I'd be equipped just with my human body, no tools, no nothing. With my human body, I would be equipped on foot to chase these animals, catch them bare hands, just my teeth, my feet, take them down, subdue them, unalive them, and I'd be able to consume that flesh right then, right there, because that's as fresh as it gets. If it was natural for me to consume that on a regular basis, I'd be equipped with all of that to be able to live like that. Joe Jet says nature gives us laws, man gives us rules. 100%. 100%. 100%, Joe. And that's the difference. And so as men and as a man, I do believe that the laws of nature supersede the laws of man. So in the word, it says, obey the laws of the land. We now translate that into the laws of the land being the laws made by man who claim governance over the land. But who said you own anything? Even the fact that the government claims governance over the land is a natural law thing. We've taken it, we've claimed it, and if you think it's yours instead of ours, you got to show that you could take it from us. Because if you can't protect it, it isn't yours. That's a natural law. You see? So everything go back to the laws of nature in the end anyway. So for those who disregard natural law, where it doesn't line up with man's law, you putting yourself at a disadvantage. Because somebody operating inside of natural law is always going to be more prepared than you. I don't care where you say I can't have that with me. Catch me. That's your job. But I'm gonna protect myself. That's my job. You understand? So, but yeah, laws of nature is something I've been wanting to discuss for a while. It's something that I've discussed in personal conversations on the regular, you know, but because anytime somebody talk to me about what's legal and what's Joe just said facts. Yeah. So it's like anytime people start talking to me about what's legal and what's not legal and this, that, and that, man, listen. Says who? I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. The people, the men who came and claimed this land, they're no longer here. It's a bunch of ancestors of them who just perpetuating some shit they put in place by way of extreme violence a long time ago. I'm one of them people who understand how to get it back. I just know it ain't enough of us to really effectively put that in motion. But it don't mean I'm finna become one of y'all sheeps. And that's the thing. So, yeah. You know, they lied to us, starting with everything. Pick something. So, we offer that, though. That's the code language conversation for the day. Laws of nature. So now we moving into chat Q&A. If there's any questions, I'm going to give y'all like 2 minutes. You got any questions for me? Shoot them through. You know what I mean? We could chop it up real quick. Talk about a topic, anything. Playoffs, sports, relationships, sociology, situations, personal, whatever. Shoot a question if y'all got one. Give y'all 2 minutes to throw something out there. If not, we're going to tap out the live. I know I came on late. We normally go in the afternoon, but on Wednesdays, we got to get the lives in later in the day because I got physical therapy. So after that, I'll be having to scale it down for a second. Shit getting intense, y'all, but we making progress. For sure, for sure. Shout out to everybody that slid through the chat today, too. Big shout out to Joe Jet being super active in the conversation. We ain't go live on multiple platforms today. We want to keep it light. The Instagram live, sometimes I feel like it play with my it mess with my streaming. I feel like my camera went out on live yesterday, so I got to figure that out real quick. Ooh, I like it. Chat Q&A. Joe Jet says Crawford versus Canelo ? You left it open ended too. Let's talk about it. So Crawford versus Canelo. I think that the fight will be. Where do I start? There's so much I can say, but I think that the fight will be, for the average boxing fan, the fight will be more uneventful than what they would like, right? Or not the average boxing fan, the casual boxing fan, people who just tap in and watch boxing when there's like big names that they know that are fighting, or people who will go to the fight party for the social aspect of it, not necessarily for the fight, but they'll watch the fight because they there type shit, like the casuals. That fight's not going to be super entertaining to those people. Now, from a boxing enthusiast or from a person who is like a true boxing fan, it's a great fight. It's a great fight. Crawford has the speed advantage. He has the conditioning advantage. He has the footwork advantage. And I believe that Crawford also has the IQ advantage. Canelo has a high IQ within his style. Crawford has a high IQ in the way of knowing how to fight in multiple different types of styles. So when I say Canelo has a high IQ within his style, it just means he knows what punches are his money punches. He knows what ultimately he's trying to accomplish in there, and he does things to set you up to be able to put you in position to get those shots off, repeatedly throughout the course of the fight, to eventually try to wear you down, or at least just win rounds and take the fight going away. With Crawford, that's going to be difficult for him to do because he's faster, because he has better feet, and because he has better conditioning. Just in general, Canelo is known to be a fighter that paces himself. He gets tired. When he was on that, what did he say? Put that clenbuterol in his system, that street meat. He said he was eating some Mexican street meat that put them steroids in his system, the performance enhancements. So when he was on that Mexican street meat, he wasn't getting tired as much in his fights. But since he stopped eating that street meat, that clenbuterol street meat, he been back to having conditioning issues. So I think that Crawford will be the better conditioned athlete going through the second half of the fight. And when Canelo try to turn it on, Crawford can simply pacify Canelo's offense with movement and make it a boring night and just touch Canelo when he wants to. The thing about it is, people who tend to fight Canelo with a lot of movement don't get the decision. Crawford will have to take more of a Mayweather approach, more of a Shakur Stevenson approach of, in certain rounds, I'm going to stand in front of you and make sure you can't hit me. But I'm right here. If he's moving backwards and moving laterally all night, he can outland, look sharper, and still lose on the cards because Erislandy Lara did, Skull just did, and Austin Trout did. You can't be in movement mode and fight on the back foot all night and get a scorecard against Canelo. So I know I'm giving you a thorough breakdown for your question, but hey, get your money's worth, dog. I think that Crawford will need to employ a strategy where from 5 on, he's not moving as much. Still move when you need to, but don't move like Charlo moved all night. Put him on the end of your jab, hold your ground from time to time, and use the method of being too far away or too close all night. And I think Crawford wins the fight. Honestly, that's my prediction. And I think it goes all 12 rounds. Nobody gets stopped. Nobody's getting stopped. And I believe, and I'm taking the under on knockdowns. So just to help y'all betting slips, I'll go Crawford by decision under 1.5 knockdowns. That's the bet I would make. and y'all should be good money on that. Joe Jet said, I agree. I think Crawford has so many layers to his game. It's unreal. Yeah. And I don't think that Canelo clips Crawford. I don't believe that. I think that anything Crawford gives up that's like a big shot, it'll more than likely be to the body. I don't think Crawford gonna give up any of them wild ass hooks Canelo be throwing. Well, the hooks ain't really wild, they just wide. Like Canelo really open up when he throw his hooks. And Crawford's just such a technical fighter. He been fighting at lower weight classes, so he's used to seeing shit coming at faster speeds. So Canelo gonna look slow to him. So I just don't see him clipping him with any. I don't see him clipping Crawford with anything of significance to the head. He can get some big body shots in though if he punch with Crawford, and go downstairs with Crawford going upstairs. He probably can land some, tough shots to the body. But will it be enough to break Crawford down? I can't see it. The money going on Bud for sure, for sure. Thanks for the question though, Joe. For sure. Yeah, man. I didn't know you was in the boxing, dog. I didn't know you was in the boxing. Hopefully, did you follow the Classic Code Sports channel? Definitely tap in with me on that because I'm about to start covering the Caleb Plant comeback fight, the Charlo comeback fight, and then we're going to discuss what it looks like if they actually make the fight between the two of them. So we about to tap into the boxing talk real heavy. I don't know if you know, but I was training to actually start fighting before I hurt my leg. So we getting right back to that as soon as I get done with all the physical therapy. I still got a road in front of me, but I didn't know you was tapped in like that for sure. Oh, you following the channel for sure, my man. Yep, we're gonna talk in depth for sure. But yeah, man, we approaching the hour mark, man. We're gonna tap out. But I appreciate y'all. Make sure if y'all watching this on the playback that you jump in the comments so we can have a conversation, whether you agree or disagree, because we got to crack these codes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on them notifications. And if you don't do nothing else, stick to the codes. We got another classic, man. We got another class.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold.